Hello guys, welcome back. I'm doing another deck profile video today. Today it's going to be an old classic deck of mine, Dark Magician, but I put a new twist on it recently, and I'm going to show you guys the profile. I haven't tested it out all too much. I think I've only played 3-4 games with it, but it's shaping up. I just need to fine tune it a little bit more. I think it'll be better. It does still work sometimes, but for right now, it's not that bad. Anyway, so get right into it here. Got 3 copies of Dark Magician. I got the cool Dark Magician thanks to my bro. He bought it for me for my birthday. So, yeah. Next up, I have 3 copies of Magician of Dark Illusion. So, I have 3 copies of him. I know some people like 2 over 3, but I still have 3 because he's level 7, going to rank 8 or rank 7 plays. He's special summonable. He actually lets me special summon Dark Magician too. If he's on the field and I play a spell or trap card during my turn, I can special summon Dark Magician from my graveyard. So that's nice. Next up, I got Apprentice Illusion Magician girl. Well, Apprentice Illusion Magician. She is a magician girl though. Don't let anybody tell you different. Her effects are discard a card, special summon her from the hand, add a Dark Magician from deck to your hand. You don't need to add Dark Magician from deck to your hand, but the option's nice. Her second effect is when she's in either the hand or on the field, and a spellcaster you control battles, you could tribute her, and that spellcaster that's battling gains 2,000 attack. So she's like pseudo-honest for spellcasters. Next up, Magician Gerard. 3 of him as well. Magician Gerard, his effect is when he's normal summoned, I can add a Dark Magician spell or trap from my deck to my hand. I have to specifically list Dark Magician, but most of my spell and traps for Dark Magician do so. I usually use him for Dark Magical Circle. That's the name of it. Dark Magical Circle, and once in a while I actually also use it for Magician's Navigation. Next up, it goes into Arima. So this is a card from the Lair of Darkness structure deck. Oops, sorry. And basically, her name's Arima, the Wicked Warden. Effect is I can discard it to add Lair of Darkness from my deck to my hand, and when it's on the field, I can tribute either itself or another dark monster, which with Lair of Darkness could even be my opponent's monsters. Anyway, so if I just tribute her for her effect, I get to draw a card. If I tribute a different monster, I get to add a monster with 2,000 or more defense from my deck to my hand. It has to be a dark monster though. Next up, move that out of the way real fast. I got Dark Magician of Chaos. He's pretty much in here because he's my favorite of the Dark Magicians. First and Yugi play him when he was versing Noah and the alternate reality world. Well, it's not alternate reality, it's like, oh yeah, it does, right?
More virtual, but
yeah, that's it. Virtual reality. Oh, anyway, so his effects are when he's normal or special summon, I can add a spell card from my deck to my graveyard to my hand. When he destroys a monster, he banishes the monster. When he's removed from the field, he gets banished himself. He's 8 stars, 2,800 attack. But I do have ways to special summon him, so he's not that bad. Next up, I got 2 Darkest Diabolos, or Diabolos. His effects are he can't be tributed or targeted by my opponent's card effects. His first actual effect is he can be special summoned from the graveyard or the hand if a dark monster is tributed. His second effect is I can tribute a dark monster and have my opponent select a card in their hand and either put it on the top or the bottom of their own deck. So that's pretty nice as well. Next up, I have Keeper of Dragon Magic. He's in here because fusions. My Dark Magician fusions, sorry. Brain won't blank. So, just like Diabolos, I have a few different types of dragons in here, so I could fuse Dark Magician. Actually, Keeper of Dragon Magic is a dragon himself. He also would let me special summon Dark Magician from the graveyard in the defense position. Next up is Chocolate Magician Girl. Her effects are pretty nice because I could discard Spellcaster, draw a card. So I do like to think that I could discard Dark Magician, use for her effect to draw a card. And then her additional effect is when she's attacked, I can special summon a Magician from the graveyard, change the attack target to the new Magician, and my opponent's monster's attack gets cut in half. So basically, if you discard Dark Magician for her, you can summon Dark Magician back with her if she's attacked, and have your opponent lose attack. Next up is Lilith, Lady of the Lament. Lilith, her effect is to tribute a dark monster. I get to choose 3 normal traps from my deck, and my opponent chooses 1 randomly. I add to my hand, the other 2 get shuffled back into the deck. I normally like to try to just, go for either Magician's Navigation or Grin Grave Virus. And yeah, that's the main uses for her. I get to tribute, and when you summon her though, her attack does become 1,000. It's originally 2,000, so forgot to mention that. Moving on, I'm going to go to the trap cards next. I got 3 copies of Dark Magical Circle. Dark Magical Circle, you can, when you play it, you look at the top 3 cards of your deck, you got Dark Magician or a spell or trap that specifically lists Dark Magician on it. From among those 3 cards to your hand. Also, it's stacked, so if you get more than 1, you can play it. And if you summon multiple Dark Magicians, you can get it. Because when you summon a Dark Magician with Dark Magical Circle on the field, you get to banish a card your opponent controls. But you can only do it, it's a once per turn. It's not a hard once per turn, it's just once per turn. That's why you get stacked. Anyway, Allure of Darkness is my next card. I got 2 Allures, and I got 2 Spellbooks of Knowledge. That's the draw power for the deck. Allure, classic dark support, lets me draw 2 cards. I just have to banish 1 dark monster. I have majority all dark monsters in this deck. And Spellbook of Knowledge, again, majority of my deck is Spellcaster, so that helps as well. Next up, I have 2 Spellbook of Secrets, which is just to search out knowledge usually. Or I could actually even discard it for knowledge. 2 Polymerizations. I can use it to either discard for Apprentice Illusion Magician or for its actual use, which is the Fusion Summon. Yep. Lair of Darkness is the next card. Sorry, I'm kind of just like running through these real fast. So Lair of Darkness. All monsters on the field become dark. I can tribute my opponent's monsters in place of tributing my own dark monsters. And also, during the end phase, you get torment tokens equal to the number of tributed monsters that turn. So if it was my turn and 2 monsters were tributed, I'd get 2 tokens. If it was my opponent's turn and 3 monsters were tributed, they'd get 3 tokens. So that doesn't really actually hurt me because I could use the tokens for link summons. My opponent, it might hurt. It might give them an edge too. So it's not that great of an ability always, but getting to use their monsters is pretty nice. Next up, I have Dark Magic Attack, Dark Magician. It's always good to have at least 1 Dark Magic Attack. Clear the back row. Illusion Magic. Illusion Magic, I've used it a few times now, and it does help because you can add Dark Magicians from your deck or your graveyard to your hand by discarding a card. So again, you could even discard Polymerization if it's just breaking up your hand. add 2 Dark Magicians from your graveyard or deck if need be. Next up, Dark Magical Inheritance. Banish 2 spell cards, pick a spell or trap from the grave that specifically lists Dark Magician, add it back to the hand. Normally I would use that with either Dark Magical Circle or Eternal Soul, or even Illusion Magic you could use it with, but the reason I don't really use it for Magician's Navigation is because I like navigation in the graveyard better, so I can use its graveyard effect to banish it and just negate the spell or trap effect. It only negates the effect, it doesn't destroy the card though, so be wary if you try to use it on like continuous cards. For the final card in my spell card section is Monster Reborn. It's Monster Reborn, free monster. On to the traps. So I got 2 Grinning Grave Virus. I attribute the Dark Monster with 3,000 or less attack. And I get to have my opponent destroy cards from their hand or their deck equal to the number of the attack divided by 500. So for Dark Magician, it would be 5 cards because he's 2,500. So 5 divided by 500, or 2,500 divided by 500 is 5. Also, if the monster you use is 2,000 attack or more for his tribute, Grinning Grave's tribute, you get to look at the top of every card your opponent draws for the next 3 turns, and if it's a monster, it gets sent to the graveyard. Also, any card sent to the graveyard by Grinning Grave gets their effects negated. So basically, if any card sent to the graveyard that turn cannot be used. Its effects can't be used. So it helps prevent graveyard effects from popping up. Next up is Magician's Navigation. I do discard Dark Magician a lot, so I don't really see the point in having 3 navigations, but I leave it at 2 because I like the graveyard effect and I like being able to just bring out Dark Magician, going through my deck, bringing out usually Illusion. Next up is Eternal Soul. Eternal Soul, all Dark Magicians I control can't be targeted or can't be affected by my opponent's cards. I could also special summon a Dark Magician once per turn, or add a Dark Magic attack or 1,000 knives from my deck to my hand. Last card for my deck, main deck, is Eradicator Epidemic Virus. I like this card because, again, like the other virus, I attribute either Dark Magician or Apprentice Illusion Magician Girl. No, I'm sorry. This card I can't use Apprentice Illusion. So usually for this card I attribute Dark Magician or even one of my Z monsters sometimes. And I can pick spells or traps. My opponent, all the spells or traps, whichever one I pick, gets destroyed that they control. And all the ones they draw would also go to the graveyard. So it's a good way to slow your opponent down, like if they're heavy on spell cards or if they're heavy on trap cards. You can slow them down with this card for 3 times. Alright, finally we're on to the extra deck. So first up is Fusions. I have Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon. I have Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon in here because I have Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon in here. So Vortex Dragon, when you special summon, I can target an attack position monster my opponent controls, so any link monster or just any attack position monster, and I can return it to the hand. It is a targeting effect, so there are a lot of cards nowadays that can't be targeted, but there are still cards that can be targeted, so why not? I have 3 copies of Dark Magician the Dragon Knight and 1 copy of Amulet Dragon. Amulet Dragon, I banish spell cards from both graveyards, or any graveyard it says, and he gains 100 attack for each spell card. So I used initially 29, and both graveyards, he can usually get a buff between, I think, 35, 40k, or 35,000, to 4,000. His additional effects are, you can, when he's destroyed by battle or by card effect, special summon a spellcaster monster from the graveyard. Any spellcaster. Doesn't have to be Dark Magician. Dark Magician Dragon Knight, he protects my back row. So if you use him in conjunction with Eternal Soul, they'll actually protect each other because he's treated as Dark Magician as well. And he's 3,000 attack, so that's nice. But just make sure you realize that he's a dragon and not a spellcaster. So any spellcaster based effects don't actually work on him. Next up is the Link monsters. For Link monsters, I have 1, 3, 1, 4, and 1, 2. So my 2-star is Wee Witch's Apprentice. 2-star, what? My Link 2 is Wee Witch's Apprentice. She can buff all my dark monsters, but then again, I have Lair of Darkness, so I don't use her that much. And then if she's destroyed, she also decreases light monster deck, sorry. But if she's destroyed, target a dark monster, get that added to my hand. Summon Sorceress, she's good to add a monster to my hand and summon a monster. But the card you add to your hand, you can't play it that turn. So just be wary of that. Syresia, he has 3 effects depending on how many monsters you use for him. So if you use 2 monsters for him, all the monsters he points to gain 300 attack and defense. If you use 3 monsters for him, you get to special summon a monster from your hand. And if you use all 4 monsters for him, the 4-star monsters, draw the top 4 cards of your deck when he's link summoned, and return 3 cards to the bottom of your deck in any order. So basically you're only getting a +1 to your hand, but you can also shuffle any of the cards that are breaking your hand for some other ones. So that's pretty nice too. That's it for my links. Next up is Xyz. I have 1 rank 8, and that is Hope Harbinger. The only reason I have Hope Harbinger is because I kind of just made edits to the decks. So, yeah, just being honest.
He did it for the artwork.
He was the first one I thought about because I like Galaxy. And he negates spells, he'll negate spell effects. When he does, it becomes material equipped to him. You can detach material, make him the attack target of an attack. And also, if an Xyz monster is destroyed, you can choose another Xyz monster you control, and that monster gains attack equal to the destroyed monster. It's essentially all his effects. Next up is Ebon High Magician and Ebon Illusion Magician. I have 2 Ebon High Magicians because even if he's destroyed by battle or by card effect, I get another magician back. But Illusion Magician, since I only have 3 normal monsters in deck, I only think I need 1. So anyways, Illusion Magician, when he's Xyz summoned, or not really when he's Xyz summoned, just one. Detach 1 material, special summon a normal spellcaster monster from my hand or deck. And when a normal spellcaster monster declares an attack, you can banish a card on your opponent's side of the field. So that's good to use. Ebon High Magician, you can detach a material from him to use quick play spells and traps on your opponent's turn from your hand, which is nice. And then again, when he's destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can special summon a spellcaster monster from your graveyard. I'm sorry. Ebon High Magician is actually hand or deck. You can special summon a spellcaster. And then you can also destroy 1 card on the field. Next up is Red Eye's Flare Metal Dragon. I usually bring him out if I'm not dealing enough damage. So, for anybody that doesn't know, his effect is when your opponent tries to activate a card effect, be it spell, trap, or monster, they have to pay 500 life points first. No? What do you mean? Oh, just inflicts 500 damage. Oh. I thought it was, well, I worded it wrong, excuse me. That's my cameraman, guys. It's my bro.
Hello. Hello.
So anyway, besides the burn damage, he looks cool. He has 2000 tech, and he's a dark dragon. So, all the reasons you need to like him. He has another effect too to summon, or to actually detach his material. His burn damage effect only works while he has material, but I don't need to use his detach effect because I don't have any other red ice cards in deck besides him. So literally I usually just summon him and he sits pretty on the field until he's either destroyed or removed in some other way.
You can't be destroyed by card effects while having material, by the way.
Thank you. Next up is Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon. So Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon, he can negate attacks, and when he's destroyed by battle or card effect, I can special summon another Odd Eyes monster from my extra deck, which is why I have Vortex Dragon in here. He's also 2000 attack, and he's also a dragon, so I can use him for fusions, and he's okay in the power department. And finally, I have the Hierophant of Prophecy. I probably pronounced that wrong, but his effect is that I can choose spells and traps on my opponent's side of the field up to the number of spellbook spell cards in my graveyard, and I can destroy them. I used to have 6 spellbook cards in here, but now I have 4. But even that, you only really have to worry about 6 zones for spells and traps, including the field zone. So it's pretty nice. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed the deck. If not, let me know. If you did, let me know. Be back with more videos soon. Have a good one.